What would you say is like the biggest physical or mental qualities to have in hockey?
You have to be resilient. For the younger girls, like you're not going to make every single team that you try out for. It's just
Yeah.
not going to happen. You're not going to win every game. Like it's just being mentally resilient and mentally fit like that. Physical, I don't know. I think even getting older too, like I said, the league now is super physical. So I think just
Yeah.
being strong on the puck, off the puck. That's
Just being
basically
able to like hold yourself
yeah,
up against the big ones. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey everyone, this is Shali, AHA's lead women advisor, and today I am joined with Alexa Vasko, AHA's one of AHA's women's advisor. Hi.
Hello, thanks for having me. How's Mexico City treating you?
It's really good. It's really warm compared to Iceland, and the sun's out every day. But the ice is not that great. So this tournament is going to be interesting. How's
Yeah.
Montreal treating you?
Not as warm as Mexico City. I'm not sunburnt, more wind burnt than anything. It's kind of windy today, but it's cold. Nothing
I
new.
mean, I don't know what else is new with Montreal, but seems very typical.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, we're going to get this started. How about you just tell us a little bit who you are and where you're playing, where you're from, etc.
Sure thing. So, right now I play in the PWHPA. I'm based out of the Montreal hub, but I'm originally, if you go way back, I'm originally from St. Catharines, Ontario. So I started playing hockey when I was about like 5 or 6, and I started playing with the boys because I didn't really know anything better. And I knew my dad played hockey, so he just threw me in house league with the boys. So I played 2 years there. And then I remember one of the boys who I played with, his sister played like rep hockey. And the dad came to my dad and was like, hey, she should like try out and maybe play girls hockey. So he said, hey, let's do it. So that's when I started playing girls hockey. And that's when I could finally go in the dressing room with my teammates. That was a huge thing.
It was a big deal.
Because I do remember like sometimes there'd be like guys running around in their gitch and stuff, but I'd be like fully dressed already because I couldn't get changed in there. I'd get dressed at home and I'd go in the truck, like in my equipment. But then I
It's a
started
good
playing.
thing you weren't a goalie doing that. That would have been
I was
hectic.
goalie once and I was never goalie again. But I will
Not
say,
that
like,
bad.
I like playing road hockey goalie because I don't want to run. But anyway, so I played rep for what was called the St. Catharines Chaos way back. Now they're the Badgers. Have you heard of the Badgers?
Yes. They only have a U18 team though, eh?
Yeah, they don't have junior.
Yeah.
They
I've
only
heard
have
of them.
midget. Yeah, so they were the Chaos, now they're the Badgers. But I never played for the Badgers. So at Bantam double A,
Wouldn't Bantam be, what is it, U15 today?
I'm not sure. I don't know. But that's when I went
Perhaps.
to Stony Creek. So then I played midget double A and then I played junior for Stony Creek. So I only played for like 2 associations, St. Catharines and Stony Creek. And then that's when I got recruited to play at Mercyhurst. And then I played there for 5 years because COVID gave us an extra year of eligibility. And I took that year because I was like, why wouldn't I want to stay for an extra year? So I just graduated basically for the second time last year.
What do you mean the second time?
Because I graduated after my 4-year degree. And then I got another one. They made like a contract degree for me. So they sort of made stuff up and I got a different degree, got that in a year. So I graduated again.
They just made stuff up.
Kind of, not really. You can check my transcript, it's real. And then so then in September I moved here to Montreal because it was either between the Montreal hub and the Toronto hub. And so from where I live in St. Catharines, it's about an hour and a half. If I were to train in Toronto, I didn't want to do that every day. I didn't really want to live in Toronto. I wanted to move away. And I know here in Montreal there are a lot of great players here, and being part of the national program, I'm like, okay, I want to train with the girls that are here, get better. And so I'm here. Our season just ended 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Our final showcase was in LA. And yeah, that's
Yeah. We're going to get into the locations that you played at this year and how how surprising it was that there was, women's hockey over there. But I just want to circle back and ask you if you've seen how Stony Creek is doing this year.
I haven't. I've heard back when I played Stony Creek, our midget double A team, like, I won't lie, we were really good. I think we were number 1 or 2, like, in the nation. And we went to the ASO Cup and everything, which is the national championship for midget. And then when I went on to junior, we came second at provincials. Like, we were really good. And I know since I've graduated that program, there have been a couple of coaching changes on the midget side and the junior side. So I don't know if that's affected everything, but I go back every once in a while if I'm back home to, you know, skate with them. But I don't know how they're doing. I don't know if they're as strong as they were before, but yeah.
Their midget team, the UE team is crushing it.
Are
They're
they?
blowing some other teams out of the water, like 7-0 and everything.
Yeah. Stony Creek's
That's
always been a good program. It was always Stony Creek. We were always head to head with Oakville. The Toronto Junior Arrows, we were always head to head with midget and junior.
yeah. I remember when I played Stony, they were better than us, but I think the top team was always like Whitby, Mississauga.
Yeah, Mississauga was good. Yeah. Yeah.
Nepean was also good, but yeah,
Sorry, who did you
Mississauga.
play for again?
I played Lady Sens, Ottawa.
Okay, I knew that. It was either Nepean or Lady Sens. That's what I.
Yeah, it's one of those two. But now this year, there's like 5 different teams in Ottawa now in the junior league.
What teams?
No, I think there's 4. There's Lady Sens, Nepean, EO Stars, East Ottawa Stars.
What the heck is that?
It's the old lady grads. They're new, and then there's
Okay.
the Ottawa Lady 67s.
Yes, I
think
remember
so.
when I would go up for Stony Creek, we wouldn't like do that. We wouldn't just play like one team. We would kind of make like a whole like kind of road trip out of it. We would hit Kingston, the Ice Wolves, you guys, Nepean. I don't think the 67s were a junior team when
I think so.
It was only the ladies. It was only Lady Sens and Nepean in Ottawa for us.
Yeah, I think they're probably 5 years old.
Okay.
Or something like that. But anyways, so yes, moving on from that. So, okay, we talked about where you played, obviously, and there's Mercyhurst. I just want to talk about your recruitment process, how that was for you.
I know now there's rules where you can't sort of talk to people until their junior year of high school, or for those in Canada, we call like grade 11.
Yeah.
So we like in Canada, it's like grade 9, 10, 11, 12. In the United States, it's like freshman year of high school, sophomore, junior, senior. So now there's rules where you can't really talk to a coach when you're grade 11, but back then that stuff started like really early, like really, really early.
18 years old, pretty much.
Really. And at that point, it was kind of like, and I've mentioned this before to you, like I would be getting stuff. It wasn't like a lot of emails. It's mostly stuff in the mail, like where I'd actually have to like open it and read it and stuff. So that's a huge difference too. Like we'd get literally stuff in the mail.
Oh man, I remember that.
And so it was kind of like, it was kind of all new to me. And I didn't know what the heck Mercyhurst was, never heard of it. But then my dad and I would like sit down at the computer and like look it up and stuff. For me, I knew I wanted to be close to home just because whether I'm in 2 hours away or 5 hours away, I'm still far enough away where my parents like aren't going to come and visit me every day. But at the same time, if I'm close enough, they can come and watch my home games if I could. For me too, when I went to visit Mercyhurst, like it's a smaller campus and I'm not a city person or whatever. I was interested in like Syracuse and Wisconsin, and I was looking at Ohio State a little bit too, but they were just way too big for me. It was, you have to get a bus or maybe get like a moped to go to class and stuff. But at Mercyhurst, if I had like a 9 a.m. class, I would literally roll out of bed. So if I was eating breakfast, like a decent amount of time before, but if I wasn't, like if it was just my only class of the day, I would roll out of bed maybe half an hour before and walk. You could walk across campus, like in the entire campus, in maybe 15 minutes. And I know some people, that's not what they want. They want like a big 10 school, whatever. That's theirs. But for me, I wanted smaller school. And even in my major, I majored in exercise science and psych. And my major classes, they had like 7 people in the classroom.
Girl, we majored in the same thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
so like it wasn't in like a big lecture hall where the professors didn't really know you. It was like there were 7 people in our class. So yes, they knew you, but then you also couldn't skip. You went to class because they they knew you, right?
They knew you and held you accountable.
For sure. And I think too, with going to a smaller school, everyone went to like each other's games. Like our professors, I'll always remember this one professor every Friday would be like, who has games this weekend? And like everybody in the class would put their hands up because everyone's like, there was like a stat or something at Mercer. So it was like 1 in 3 is an athlete or something. But everyone in my major was like an athlete. So like everyone would put their hand up and then he was like, okay, women's hockey's this, men's, blah, blah, blah. So then it was so cute. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so I liked having that small feel. Everybody knew everybody. We would be walking around like, hi. It's not, no one was really a stranger. So
yeah, I started at Laurentian and it was like in Sudbury and it was exactly like the same thing. Yeah. Everything was small classes. I think obviously the biggest like psychology class, stats class, like those were pretty big. But when you like got more specific in your courses. It was like 10.
Yeah. No, and that's
It
what
was
I love.
awesome.
I'm like a huge homebody too. And I remember too when I was looking up like Mercyhurst on the computer with my dad, I realized like, well, now Penn State's really strong. Syracuse has gotten strong. A lot of teams have gotten stronger within the CHA, but back then it was always like Mercyhurst won. And they had like Megan Augusta, Bailey Bram, and the coach that's still there now. He's like, I don't know the stat, maybe the winningest, something in the NCAA. He's been the only coach in the women's program. So he's super successful. So I was like, okay, that's good too.
That's awesome.
And then
Yeah.
visiting, I was just like, yeah. And from my house in St. Catharines, Ontario to Mercyhurst University was only 2 hours and 10 minutes. So
Oh my
very,
God, that's like almost perfect.
very close, but far enough.
Yes, very important. So that's awesome. And you were also captain for your team. Who is it, the team that voted you, or was it the coaching staff? Like, how was that?
I think one of the years it's a both, because I remember when I was a freshman, and we had to vote for captains. I didn't know who to vote for because I didn't even know the people. So then that process got kind of messy. And I think moving forward, we told our coach like, hey, freshmen voting for captains, like they don't know, they've been there for like a week, they don't know leadership styles, playing styles off the ice. So I think moving forward, I don't think our freshmen voted just because it makes the most sense. So I think, but in combination, it was, coaches' decisions, other people's, it was like a more collective than just like a team vote, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Like coaches basically have the end.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, let's move on from Mercyhurst and get into your career in the PWHPA. So, can you talk about the process of getting into that, like getting into the PWHPA league?
To be honest, like it's not a huge intricate process. I know they did hold tryouts for some people, like if you knew you were going to be in this region. So I would say the main, for like listeners and people who don't know, the main training hubs are Montreal, which I'm in, Toronto, Calgary, Minnesota. So there's some girls in Boston, but then you can also train like regionally, like you can train on your own if you want, and then but just make sure like you're communicating stuff with like your training base and stuff. So going back, so there was like tryouts and like evaluators and stuff, but for me and some of the girls, we were at like camps and stuff during the tryouts, so we couldn't really attend the tryouts. So I would say maybe 50-50. There was like an evaluation process, and they like sort of ranked you, knowing where you came from, your history, whether your age, what school. Like for me, example, I just came out of school, whereas women have been at 2 Olympics, for example. So they had sort of like a ranking system there. And then for the PWHPA, we had 4 teams, Team Sonnet, which I was on, Harvey's, Scotiabank. And so then they allocated players based on their ranking, their skills, trying to make them as even as possible.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like someone was watching you at Mercyhurst and be like, yeah, I want her on my Sonnet team.
No, because there's options too, right? There's the league in Europe, the
DHL.
Yep.
In Sweden.
The one that's you're allowed hitting now. In that one. So there was that one, that's an option. There's the PHF, that's an option, and then the PWHPA. But there's also other options in all over Europe too. So
Iceland. Okay, cool. So can you tell us a little bit what the season looks like, and based on what you know now, what it's going to look like next year?
Yeah.
Because I did hear there's going to be some mini changes.
Yeah. So this year it was purely showcases. So what that is like you don't have like games during the week. I would say maybe every second weekend. Before the Christmas break, it was maybe every third weekend, a bit more spread out. But after Christmas, it got a lot heavier with the weekend showcases. So what would happen was, so I'm in the Montreal hub. We would train as a hub. There's maybe 10, 12 of us training as a hub. And then a showcase would come. And so let's say, for example, we went to Pittsburgh the one weekend. And so I would go on Team Sonnet, another girl, Team Harvey's, Team Adidas, but we're all from Montreal, Team Scotiabank. We would play the showcase that weekend, all come back on Monday, train together again, another showcase, let's say it was in DC, and then we'd break off into our respective teams and come back. So I think in total, we had 20 something games. It was like a decent amount.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah.
It was a decent amount, but like I said, there was nothing during the week. It was just training and then breaking off into our individual teams. And then at the end, Harvey's ended up winning the big thing.
The big cup.
Yeah.
No, just before we get into like next season and stuff, how was it like training with girls you play against? Like, wasn't it not weird, but like interesting?
It was kind of fun because yeah, we're friends off the ice. Like we grab coffees together, we go to lunch and we do stuff together, we train. We're literally with them all day. And then we go to a showcase and we're literally like taking face-offs against each other, bumping each other and like chirping each other. And it's fun, but we're also super competitive.
Yeah,
Like it's really competitive, but then on Monday it's just reset and then we'll talk about it and we'll laugh about it and stuff. And
that's awesome.
yeah. And I was the only one in my hub on team Sonnet, really.
Oh, no way.
There were some girls that would come in on Tuesday nights to come and they were on Team Sonnet, but the majority of the time I was the only one and really represented. So
That's a good representation. Yeah, because you were training with Punai, right?
yeah.
How, because I mean, you probably grew up looking up to her, right? And now you're playing against and pretty much with her. Like, how is that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Like I knew so obviously
Or
like
maybe
20
not just her, but like, all the big
oh
names.
oh yeah. So like obviously like 2010, that was like the first time I sort of like noticed I'm like, wow, she's kind of good at hockey. And then like going on and stuff, I'm getting older, I'm getting more into women's hockey, watching her and watching her. And then I remember I was still at Mercyhurst, but I went to my first senior camp and I remember like seeing her for the first time in person. I was like, oh my gosh. And this was during COVID, so it was unfortunate. We couldn't really mingle too much. We had to go to the rink, go back, and everyone had their own individual rooms. And it was in Halifax. So we couldn't really do anything together, but even just going to the rink with her and seeing her in person, training with her for the very first time, I was very nervous, but I was also like, holy crap, like just to see her work ethic and everything on and off the ice. And then going from there, I would see her at like different events and stuff.
That's so cool.
Different camps, and then I knew that I wanted to move here. I've said it for a while just because it's a good training group, and then moving here, like I already knew her. I've already been with her a lot of times, and just again, like she's
Now
out
you
doing,
guys are like this.
I don't know, but just even like after practice, like her doing those extra reps and just like little things like that, and then yeah, there's her, Jill Sawney, Laura Stacy, Anne Renee, Annette, Mash. I'm probably
Oh my
missing
God.
names. Rougeau, she was very, very, very good. Like,
They're huge names.
yeah, I'm probably missing names. I'm just and coming out of college and like watching those girls on TV and being on the U18 and U22 team. I'm like, okay, that's where I want to be. So I thought, like, in order like to want to be the best, train with the best. That's what I've always thought. So,
Yeah.
and it's really, and like I've definitely seen improvements in my game too, and personally too off the ice. So yeah, I'm
No, I
really
can
happy.
imagine.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And okay, what would you say the difference between going from NCAA D1 to playing with the best of the best? Like, what's that difference like?
Like on the ice?
Both, off and on, I guess.
Well, I would say in the PWHPA, I can sort of focus a little bit more on hockey just because in the NCAA, I was well, depending on my schedule, it was classes all day, practice, workout, and then homework at night. And then do it
Yeah,
all over again, all over again, all over again. Here I can focus a little bit more on hockey. So there's that. And then even like so in the gym on the ice, it is a lot faster. Like not just like speed wise, but like your
decision
time
making and stuff.
decision making, exactly, time with the
Yeah.
puck. You're like it's since it's so much faster, you have less time with the puck, you have to make decisions faster. Games are a lot more like physical too.
No way.
A
Yeah.
lot more physical. Like obviously like the NCAA, it's like it's fast, it's physical, but this is like a different level.
Yeah, it's like something else.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Good for
Yeah.
you.
It's fun.
I can imagine. So do you ever tell yourself like, oh my God, I made it? Because you're playing like with the best and I feel like playing up at that league and PWHPA and PHF, like you're considered like the best of the best. Like, do you ever like realize like, oh my God, I'm like super good or something like that? Or you're just so super humble?
I don't really I don't know. I don't know. I really don't think about it. I just think about, oh, well, I'm playing hockey because it's fun and I love it and
Yeah.
I want to keep getting to that next level and I don't know, I just love doing it and I don't know, it makes me happy seeing girls, like younger girls that we're sort of or trying to pave the way for. So
Yeah.
in 10 years they have somewhere to play professionally. Like
Yeah.
I mentioned to you before the call, one of our tours, it was like an OHL tour, and Team Sonnet and Adidas were in Niagara. So actually it was only like 10 minutes from my hometown, like my house. And they had like 4,300 fans. Like it was packed. And to see all the little girls teams there, even boys, like some of my cousins' team was there. And they're like a U12 boys team. And it was amazing. Like, and they were screaming their heads off. And it's just like, okay, yeah, Sonnet lost the game, but there's also a bigger purpose for it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that must be so heartwarming at the same time.
yeah,
Like,
it was pretty awesome.
I remember last year there was a showcase in Ottawa, and I went with some of the girls that I coached, and we saw Milo Dao just
Yep.
watching and stuff. She had just gotten back from the Olympics and stuff, and all the girls were freaking out. They went up to her and asked for a photo, and even I think Rebecca Leslie was there too, and they were just so nice and so like considerate and super welcoming. And they were like, "Oh my God, yes, let's take photos." And I just think that's so cool, especially for like the younger girls who look up to them, and they're not like because for example, I've met professional hockey players like men, and they were like fine, I'll take photos with you. Like, I just seeing that for young girls to look up to is just so amazing. Like these role models are exceptional.
I think a huge thing with that is you're only gonna interact with that girl or little boy. That's gonna be your only interaction with them, and that's what they're gonna remember of you. So like
Yeah,
no matter, for example, say if I'm seeing like say there's like 20 kids who I'm meeting, whatever, taking pictures with, yeah, that's 20 kids for me. But that little girl or boy, they've met me for the first time. Say they were looking up to me and I was rude. They're gonna say, oh,
yeah,
well, I put her on a pedestal. They're not gonna say that, but they're gonna say, like, I looked up to her and she just kind of like scoffed me
brushed
off.
me off.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah. So that's why and I think all of us in the PW are pretty good at that, like taking time, like saying like thank you, blah blah blah, all that, because it does mean a lot to us, like to have these fans and for young girls and boys to look up to us. So that's pretty huge.
oh, that's awesome. Like it's yeah, some of you guys are such great role models to kids, and I think I'm so excited to see what's going to be like 5 years from now. Like it's
Yeah, so am
gonna be
I.
insane. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's move on from that and let's talk about the locations that you played at this year. You played at some interesting locations that you've mentioned, like Florida and LA. Obviously, like, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, those are, I don't want to say like hockey hubs, but like you can say hockey cities. But
Yeah.
like LA, like super down south, and Florida as well. Like talk about that for a bit. Like
Yeah.
how was that?
Oh, it was great. I know. Like
Did
it
you get
was
sunburns?
yeah, I did. No. Like for the Florida showcase, it was just like it was a neat setup because we were in the hotel, but the rink was right across the hotel. So it's not like we had to like get on the bus like 10-15 minutes before a bus. It was right across from the hotel so we could walk, and it was hot out because it was Florida, so we would all just be like around the pool and okay, we should probably start getting ready for a game now. And then we would just walk and stuff. But it was just so weird. It was a hot climate, and then we'd go into the arena, play, and then come back out. But it's cool. Like it was helped put on by the Tampa Bay Lightning. So that
Whoa.
was cool. And I mean, LA was a little bit colder, but like not by much, but it was still cool to be in like a warmer climate and go into the arena. But then it just shows you like the support women's hockey is getting. Because I know for the LA showcase, the LA Kings were helping us. We did go to a Kings game, which was pretty cool. And then the Coachella Valley Firebirds, which are like the AHL team, they were the ones that actually hosted the final, Harvey's versus Scotiabank. So that was pretty cool. So it's just neat having all these people sort of piggyback onto the women's hockey movement.
That's awesome. And plus it's super nice to see like, men's hockey also kind of like pay attention to women's hockey and probably like promote it on their side too, because that's where all the audience is really at, right? So
Yeah. And I will say too, I'm actually wearing, it's ironic, I'm wearing the hoodie now, but Washington was a great place too. The Capitals really, it was just an awesome event put on by the Capitals, everyone there. The stands were packed for that one as well. I
yeah,
honestly love DC. It was so cool.
that's awesome. Did you get to
Yeah.
like tour the city a little bit?
Yeah, so Scotiabank and Sonnet were fortunate enough to have an earlier game one of the days. And I flew it the next day. Like a couple of us flew it the next day. So we're like, let's go sightseeing. So we just took an Uber down to like the Washington Monument. We just walked around for like hours, and it was just so cool. Like we saw the White House through the gates. We saw
That's sick.
again, like it was so cool. I loved it.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Really good experiences and memories that you're making and stuff.
Yeah.
So kind of like piggybacking off of that, can you recall any like funny stories that happened? Some that you can share?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. So like Sonnet, we had a really good time. Like we were a fun team. We got t-shirts made with like funny sayings. Like we were just a really fun team. And in Florida, we went to this thing called Pop Smoke. No, Top. I don't know, something golf. It was mini golf. I can't remember.
Okay.
I want to say
Top Golf.
Smoke. That's a rapper. It wasn't Top Golf. It was like Pop Stroke. That's what it was called. It was made by Tiger Woods, so it's called Pop Stroke, and it was a mini golf course. And we like Hannah Bunton had like this huge purse, and I think it was Haley Skarupa yelled like, "Hit it with your purse!" like the ball. So she whacked the ball with her purse, and it goes in the hole.
No
So
way.
she started using her purse as the putter for the entire time that we were there. So then our saying for the rest of the season was hit it with your purse. Like if things weren't working out, someone would just yell, "Hit it with your purse." And we started winning games.
That's so awesome. That's
It was
funny.
but it was so funny, and like we got t-shirts made, and then we came up with hit it with your purse saying, and we sharpied it on. Like Sonnet, we just had a lot of fun. We didn't have the best record, but we started picking up a couple wins after we created this saying, but like it was just so funny. Like hit it with your
That's
purse.
awesome.
It's so random, but it was like our sort of like our rally cry.
Yeah, it's like a motto. Like if it,
It's
also, if
so
it works,
random.
it works.
And people are like, "Yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get if we win, we're gonna get purse tattoos." Like it was like I don't think anyone was actually gonna get it, but who knows?
I mean, it's your body. If it works for you.
Yeah, but that
YOLO.
was something like funny. Like everyone sort of we rallied around it, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, this is hilarious!"
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so funny. Yeah. Okay, so that's fun. So I think now let's get on like some serious things. Like, what would you say is like the biggest physical or mental qualities to have in hockey, in your opinion?
Well, I would say so mentally, I think it's just to be resilient. Like there's going to be times where, like, for example, you don't make a team or you're not on the line that you want to be, or you didn't have the best game that you want to be. But like, say in a showcase example, if you don't have a good Saturday game, doesn't matter. You're still playing Sunday. So it's almost like you got to flip the switch and sort of clear everything that happened. Like if you had a crappy game, throw it away and show up the next day. So I think being resilient and just not
Kind of having that short memory.
Exactly. Like if you're down on yourself, no one's like, the game's not going to stop just for you. You know what I mean? You have to be resilient. And again, like going forward, not everyone, like for the younger girls, like you're not going to make every single team that you try out for. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to win every game. Like it's just being mentally resilient and mentally fit like that. Physical, I don't know. I think even getting older too, like I said, the league now is super, super physical. So I think just being strong on the puck, off the puck. That's basically
just being able to like hold yourself up against the big ones.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess, to finish things off, like what would you have like any tips or advice or like a message that you want to give to like younger players or younger girls too that are watching this?
I would probably just say, like, it's a super cliche, but like dream big. Like this is the reason, yes, we're playing because we love the game and we're playing professionally, but also we're doing this for young girls, the younger generation, so they have a solidified spot to play when they're done their collegiate career or wherever they're playing. So I think too, we've said it before, like in the PWHPA, like if you can see it, you can be it, or if you see it, you can dream it. This is what we're here for, and don't limit yourself, because I know some people are, I don't know, like I know right now there's a huge women in sports movement, and that's great, but I know there are still some people stuck in the head like women's sports, like wow, like no, don't set a ceiling on your potential. Dream big and just go for it, because that's what we're doing here. So
I mean, like another one I guess that could like piggyback off of that is like hard work pays off. So if you have a goal and you want to work for it, then let's go.
Exactly. And like there's going to be hurdles, like I said, and those can't stop you. Like I've stumbled over many hurdles, but like you just have to pick yourself. Like it's tough in the moment, but allow yourself a day or two to wallow, and then just pick yourself back up and start again. It's worth
Yeah.
it. It's
And
fun.
after that, you can look back at everything and just be like, yeah, like I've done it, I've made through this, and now I'm excited to see what else I can do, kind of thing.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's awesome. We totally forgot to talk about what the PWHPA looks like next year, but we can definitely talk about that we'll definitely have you back on so we can revisit that next time.
And I think that's a smart idea because I think I might know a little bit more if we have it a little later on. I just
And then
know yeah, it won't be like in a showcase format. It's going to be league, but again, that's all I know. That's all I can say. So
maybe next time we can also talk about the difference between the PWHPA and the PHF.
that sounds like a great idea. I'll come prepared.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today. It was super awesome having you and getting to know your past and everything you're doing right now.
Awesome. Thank you. And enjoy the sun in Mexico City because I'll enjoy it here in Montreal.
Thank you. I may be staying inside a little bit because I did burn a lot as the UV index was 9. So yeah, I might be playing it safe.
Yeah, I wish we had a UV index right now. I think it's 0. So
it might be in the minuses. I'm not sure.
Frick.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you.